everybody, Tim here again, sitting on another plane. This time we're doing a little bit of a different trip. We've got a layover in San Diego, can't seem to get away from that city, but we're going somewhere fun today, and we'll do a quick little travel montage. I'm here at the Kennedy Space Center. This is super exciting. Really excited to be here today. You can see back here we've got the thrusters for the space shuttle. We got some other Mercury rockets and other things there. So today I'm actually here to meet with some of the NASA officials and engineers that service the International Space Station. And we're going to be learning about how, space stations are built and serviced, and how supplies and materials and people get launched up at the International Space Station. And this is all in part for the Braun Space Station, which I'm working on right now. But I've got a couple hours to spare. So in the meantime, before my appointments this afternoon, I'm gonna do the touristy thing and go check out these rockets. So let's see what we find. So super crazy, behind me, that's the Mercury Capsule, or a model of it, that these school kids are crawling into. That's super tiny. The thing's not even a meter in diameter. You look at what we're doing now with like this, SpaceX's Dragon capsule, you know, where if I can remember the names. There's a bunch of people, I mean, I think it's designed for 12. And then the Braun Space Station, where the habitable modules are going to be 12 meters in diameter. Super tiny. So, really cool. Another super cool thing behind me, I've got the Apollo 7 rocket, well, recreation of it, because parts of these things were ditched in space. But what's crazy is the diameter of this thing is 6.4 meters. And you come up here, you can look how it tapers off. This is where the command module is, and then the service module's there. You got the, the escape tower there in case of emergency. But 6.4 meters in diameter. Again, Braun Space Station is going to be 12 meters in diameter, so double that. And the SpaceX Super Heavy is, I think it's 8 meters in diameter, so it's a bit wider than that. Up until recently, this is the longest or the most powerful rocket ever imagined, let alone flown. And space technology is advanced even more past this now, but absolutely massive. Can't imagine what it looks like standing up, but small in comparison to what we're doing next. So here's a model of the command module. You can see that there's just 3 little seats there. Got all the control panels. Really not much room for anything. It's amazing that they would spend weeks and weeks in space. Well, I guess the launching was just in this portion of the module, but very cramped. Here's a cool little diagram of the size of the International Space Station. So there's a mural here showing the station, which is actually 8 times bigger than this. If you take that, multiply it up 16 times, that would be the width of the Von Braun. Here's a full-scale model of the future Orion spacecraft. This is the next big capsule. So this is going to be going on the Space Launch System, SLS, and quite a bit bigger than what we've done in the past as far as capsules. I think this is about the same size as the Dragon, but I don't know for sure. Look it up, Google it. But you can see they've got nice windows. A big step up from Mercury and Apollo. There really is a ton of stuff to do here. There's an IMAX theater, they got another theater, they've got a kids zone, they got museums, they got all sorts of like interactive exhibits, they've got cool murals and walls. I'm heading over to the space shuttle thing, the boosters. I'm really short on time, so this is just a whirlwind tour. Yeah, so here's a map of the place. Lots to do, but I've only got 2 hours. So here we go, Space Shuttle Atlantis. And here's the solid and liquid fuel boosters. 2 solid boosters on the side. and the liquid fuel tank is in the middle. Liquid fuel tank actually powers the engines on the shuttle. That's the fuel during launch. And then the solid boosters break away. When the liquid fuel tank is emptied, then the shuttle, that separates and jettisons and falls back to Earth. And then the shuttle just relies on the fuel that's in its onboard tanks. So fun fact, these solid rocket boosters, they expended their fuel in about 2 minutes, and this massive liquid fuel tank completely empty in about 8.5 minutes. That's a lot of fuel being burned. Okay, so I'm here in front of Space Shuttle Atlantis, and it's really cool to see something that's gone up into space so many times and millions of miles traveled. 12 years to develop the space shuttle, and I think they said like something like 12.5 million parts. Really complicated machine, but it was the first reusable spacecraft. And now, you know, SpaceX is making reusability seem like it's just everyday thing. But before the space shuttle, reusability was just, it was thought to be impossible. And everything except for the fuel tank out front was reusable. So the 2 solid boosters, and then of course the shuttles. And they had a little presentation beforehand to kind of unveil and reveal the shuttle, and just walking us through the history of it all and just the impact that the shuttle program had. And it was really moving. The space shuttle is really, you know, what I grew up with. First launch was in 1981, and so the whole program was the space program of my youth and building of the International Space Station. So really cool to actually see this in person. And we're going to go down, or I'm going to go down. Why do I keep saying we? I'm going to go down now, and there's an exhibit for the International Space Station. I'm going to go look at that, and we'll compare that to what we're doing next with von Braun and beyond. Okay, so here are the infamous ZeroG Toilets. These things really are the worst. You have to train to use these things. You get little vacuums and things that, well, do what you would expect them to do. So the nice thing about having a low gravity environment like on the von Braun station is you can use normal toilets. No training needed. Yeah, these things really are a crazy piece of technology. Make something that seems so simple on Earth incredibly complicated without gravity. So this is where I wish I was a kid again. They have a scaled model of the ISS, but no shoes allowed, and I'm guessing you have to be under like 4 feet to fit through here. But really cool. You can imagine what it would be like to be on the International Space Station. Cramped. Great quote behind me. We've got some mock-ups of the International Space Station. It says, to live in space, everything you take for granted must be rethought, relearned, rehearsed. That's definitely true as we've been working through the von Braun Space Station. Simple things like how do you get out of your bed? How do you climb up ladders? How do you go downstairs? Like all those things change when you're in space. Zero gravity especially, but you know, with our low gravity environment, same complications, like simple things, so hard. Okay, so more on toilets. Sorry for keep bringing this up, but this is like a huge thing, and having a low gravity station really does make this so much easier. So you got to take a seat, you got to aim on the camera, part ways, some little coaxing, flushing, and cleanup. So here's the International Space Station toilet. The other one actually was the Space Shuttle Atlantis toilet. So there you see the little suction vacuum, and I don't know if you can see it, but down inside there's actually a camera that way you can take aim, and you have to have controls to use your toilet. So not so on the von Braun. We'll have real toilets. Here is a mock-up of one of the crew cabins. So you have your little zip-up sleeping bag that you sleep in, and you've got your laptop where you can check your email and work on stuff, notepads, have some pictures from home, your Walkman of course, and some music, some books. Pretty small, nothing like the luxurious cabins on the von Braun, but you know, you got a cabin on the floor, cabin on the wall, cabin on the ceiling. In ZeroG there are no really walls, floors, and ceilings. You orient however you want. And here we have the exercise machine, or one of them, from the International Space Station. Zero gravity really is so hard on your body. The things that we're trying to fix with the von Braun Space Station, we're going to have low gravity environment, lunar, potentially up to Mars gravity, And so you don't have all the physical strain in your body, the atrophy of the muscles and the problems of circulation. I mean, there's so many things that go on with zero gravity. So we're eliminating a lot of those. Behind me, some mock-ups of the ISS modules. You can see some astronauts running. So these are about 4 meters in diameter, the International Space Station modules, and von Braun, we're going to be about 3 times that, at 12 meters. So 3-story building, essentially, significantly larger. Here you can see them loading up the cargo bay of the space shuttle. And this is one of the things I'm going to be learning today at Kennedy, is how they process equipment going up to the International Space Station today, because it's a little bit different. The shuttle doesn't exist anymore, which is the main difference. Here's a model of the assembly, the whole launch thing. So this is what took the International Space Station to orbit. We're going to be relying on the SpaceX Starship and Falcon Heavy, potentially Blue Origin's launch vehicles. We'll see what they have. So here's some models of some of the rovers that have landed on Mars. We've got Sojourn, Spirit, Opportunity, and Curiosity, which is the largest one. But even still, I mean, if you look how tiny some of these are. They're so cute. But Curiosity's a big one over here. But even still, these are relatively small. And when you look at some of the vehicles that we're hoping to take to Mars, like that big thing over there, you need some large rockets. Or ideally, you're building these things in orbit, and that's where a launch platform like the SpaceX Starship can get materials into space, or the Falcon Heavy, and then you have a construction platform like Braun Space Station or other types of platforms in orbit where you can build larger structures near Earth, where you have technical resources, material resources, and then a lot easier to get them over to the red planet. So, or the moon, even. Okay, and with that, my time here on the public side of Kennedy Space Center is drawing to a close, and got the mural of the ISS back in the background there again. I'm going to go learn how that thing is built, how it's serviced, and how we can help build the future space habitats that you might be visiting soon. Okay, until next time, guys, I'm Tim Alatorre, and if you have a project that you're interested in us helping you on, whether it be in space or on Earth, give us a call. Link below to our booking form and my phone number. And until next time, I don't have a catchphrase. I need a catchphrase. Okay, bye guys.